Beloved and miraculous Saint Anthony of Padua, we come before you with hearts open and filled with longing. In a world where so many doors feel shut, where burdens seem too heavy to carry, we turn to you, our faithful friend, the saint of impossible causes, the miracle worker of centuries. You who once held the child Jesus in your arms, now hold us in your tender care. We believe that through your divine intercession, even the darkest night can turn into a dawn of blessings. Saint Anthony, today we ask you to walk beside us in this sacred moment of prayer. Look upon our pain, our desperation, and our impossible needs with the same compassion you offered to those who sought your help centuries ago. You have never turned away anyone who called upon you with faith. And so we stand here, hopeful, trusting, believing that something miraculous is already unfolding. Saint Anthony, grant us the miracle we seek today. If you believe, type in the comments, Saint Anthony, grant me my miracle today. Saint Anthony, powerful advocate before the throne of God, today I come to you with an urgent plea. You, who are known for bringing hope into hopeless situations, look kindly upon my life and hear my prayer. I present to you my deepest struggles, my urgent needs, my fears that overwhelm me. I know that nothing is impossible when placed in your hands, for countless miracles have happened through your powerful intercession. Saint Anthony, take my request and deliver it swiftly to heaven's door. O miraculous Saint Anthony, you know the pain in my heart, the anxiety that keeps me awake at night, and the burdens that seem too heavy to bear. With unwavering faith, I place everything in your care, confident that your prayers carry the strength of divine intervention. Remind me that God sees beyond my challenges and knows my needs better than I do myself. Do not let me despair, Saint Anthony, but grant me the courage and patience to await the miracle already on its way. Saint Anthony, patron of miracles, my heart yearns to witness the incredible power of your intercession. I trust you fully because your compassion has never failed anyone who seeks you. Guide me through this challenging time, strengthen my spirit, and open doors I could never open alone. Keep me steadfast until the very end of this prayer, for I believe the greatest blessing is waiting to be revealed. Type in the comments right now, I trust in you, Saint Anthony, and witness how your faith ignites the miracle you're waiting for. When everything seems lost, heaven starts moving. There are moments in life when everything feels broken. Doors close, people walk away, finances collapse, sickness strikes, and you stand there wondering, how did my life come to this? It's in this very place of desperation that Saint Anthony shows up, not as a distant saint, but as a friend who holds your hand and says, "We're not done yet." Saint Anthony understands what it means to feel helpless, even in his own life when storms pushed him away from his plans. It seemed like everything had gone wrong, but heaven was moving behind the scenes. What felt like failure was actually a divine setup for something greater. And that's exactly what's happening for you right now. When the world turns its back, heaven turns its face toward you. You are not forgotten. Saint Anthony is stepping into your situation with the same miraculous power that has restored marriages, healed bodies, and rescued families for centuries. This is not the end. This is the turning point. Imagine St. Anthony standing right beside you, his hands glowing with divine light, his voice whispering, "Lift your eyes, help is coming." What you thought was lost forever is already on its way back to you. This isn't just a dream. This is the reality for those who dare to believe in the miraculous power of God. I want you to think about everything that seems broken right now. That debt, that illness, that relationship, that fear that keeps you awake at night. Place it into St. Anthony's hands right now. Visualize it. Surrender it. Because the moment you do, heaven begins orchestrating solutions that you can't even imagine. Let me remind you, Saint Anthony didn't just help people find lost things. He helped them recover lost peace, lost joy, lost purpose, and even lost time. The God who restored what Anthony needed is the same God who can restore what you need. No situation is too broken. No life is too far gone. When you pray this urgent miracle prayer to Saint Anthony, something shifts in the spiritual realm. Angels are dispatched. Doors begin to unlock. Suddenly, what seemed impossible becomes inevitable, but it all starts with your decision to believe. Not tomorrow, not next week, but right now. There's a story of a man who lost everything in a house fire. His job, his home, and even his faith. In desperation, he turned to St. Anthony, praying with tears and trembling hands. On the third day, a stranger knocked on his door, offering a job. On the fifth day, a family member offered him a place to live. By the ninth day, donations from the community had restored everything he lost. This is the kind of miracle St. Anthony is known for. If he did it for them, why wouldn't he do it for you? God's mercy didn't expire in the 13th century. St. Anthony's power didn't fade with time. His intercession is as strong today as it was when people lined the streets, watching miracles unfold wherever he walked. The only thing missing is your decision to believe. Right now, heaven is waiting on one thing: your yes. Your yes to faith. Your yes to trust. Your yes to the miracle that's already being written in the unseen. Saint Anthony is already presenting your name before the throne of God. He's already speaking your needs into the ears of the one who controls it all. If you believe this, if your heart feels the fire of faith rising, Then say it boldly in the comments right now. I believe. My miracle is on the way. Let heaven hear it. Let Saint Anthony carry it. Let the spiritual realm move on your behalf as you step into the greatest breakthrough of your life. When faith seems weak, miracles begin to grow. There are moments when faith feels like a flickering candle in the middle of a storm. You try to believe, but doubts creep in. You whisper prayers, yet silence answers back. But here's the truth. Saint Anthony wants you to remember, miracles aren't born from perfect faith. They're born from persistent faith. Even when your voice trembles, even when your prayers are soaked in tears, heaven hears you. Saint Anthony understands what it means to feel unsure. He knows how heavy life can become, but he also knows that faith, no matter how small, is enough to move mountains when placed in God's hands. Saint Anthony teaches us that faith isn't pretending everything is fine. It's believing that even in chaos, God still reigns. It's trusting that Saint Anthony is already standing before the throne of heaven, whispering your name, holding your pain, and pleading for your breakthrough. Let me be honest with you. The enemy loves to whisper, it's too late, nothing's changing, God won't show up for you. But right now, Saint Anthony stands in front of that lie, silences it, and declares, this is not the end. This is the beginning of your miracle. Picture this. A woman whose husband had walked away from their marriage after 20 years. She was drowning in grief, left alone to care for her children. With nothing left, she prayed the miraculous prayer to St. Anthony. By day 7, her husband called. By day 9, he was home, and their family was restored. Faith doesn't demand that you understand how it will happen. It simply asks that you trust that it will. St. Anthony's hands are already at work in the unseen, moving hearts, softening situations, aligning blessings perfectly with God's timing. There is something powerful happening when you choose to believe, even when it hurts, even when every circumstance screams, it's over. You are actually declaring to heaven, I believe in a God bigger than this problem. And Saint Anthony rushes to your side with divine assistance. Never underestimate what one prayer said with desperation and trust can unlock in heaven. Saint Anthony didn't become the saint of miracles by accident. It was through compassion, relentless prayer, and his intimate connection with the child Jesus that he was granted such heavenly power. Right now, as you listen to this, your situation is already shifting. Saint Anthony is placing your name before the throne. Angels are moving, chains are breaking, doors that were sealed shut are unlocking. Heaven is not ignoring you. Heaven is mobilizing for you. But listen carefully. The greatest mistake people make is giving up right before the miracle arrives. They stop praying. They let doubt win. They surrender to fear. Don't let that be you. Not now. Not when you're this close to breakthrough. Lean deeper into faith. Speak life over your situation. Even if you can't see the change yet, declare it. My miracle is happening. Saint Anthony is interceding for me. Your words create spiritual waves. Your faith commands the atmosphere to shift. Right now, type boldly in the comments, Saint Anthony, I trust you with my miracle. Let that be the public declaration that seals this moment in heaven. Watch what happens when heaven hears your cry and Saint Anthony lifts your request to the throne of God. The power of Saint Anthony to restore what was stolen. Have you ever felt like life stole something from you? Maybe it was your peace. Maybe it was your health, your financial security, or someone you deeply love. But here's the truth. What life steals, heaven restores. And Saint Anthony is the messenger heaven sends to recover what was lost. When that novice stole Saint Anthony's precious book of prayers and reflections, Anthony didn't panic. He didn't seek revenge. He simply fell to his knees and prayed, trusting that heaven would intervene. And heaven did. Not only was the book returned, but the thief's heart was transformed forever. This wasn't just about a book. This was a spiritual law being revealed to the world, that nothing is truly lost when placed in the hands of God through Saint Anthony's intercession. If God could recover a stolen treasure for Anthony, how much more will he do for you when you cry out in faith? Think of everything that feels stolen right now. Your joy, your confidence, your health, your finances, your marriage, your dreams. Saint Anthony is stepping in saying, what the enemy meant for harm, God is about to turn for good. The restoration begins the moment you believe. There's a man named Joseph who lost his job, his house, and his dignity after years of faithful work. In desperation, he prayed the miracle prayer to Saint Anthony every day. On day 10, a company he'd never applied to offered him a job. 2 weeks later, he was promoted. 3 months later, he owned his first home again. Restoration wasn't just possible, it was inevitable. Saint Anthony doesn't just bring back what was lost, he multiplies it. Because God doesn't return things as they were. He restores them better, fuller, stronger, and beyond your expectations. When Saint Anthony moves, heaven's generosity flows in abundance. I need you to understand something deep in your spirit right now. Heaven remembers what you forgot. Heaven keeps what you think is lost. Heaven restores what you believed was broken forever. Saint Anthony's hands are filled with the answers you've been searching for. Even in moments when you feel like nothing's changing, the spiritual world is busy arranging the miracle behind the scenes. People you've never met are being positioned to help you. Opportunities you never imagined are being prepared. It's all happening right now as you pray. But here's the key. Don't try to figure out how. Don't waste energy wondering where it will come from. That's not your job. Your job is to trust, to believe, and to stay in a posture of faith while Saint Anthony carries your request straight to the heart of God. There's a woman named Lisa who had been estranged from her daughter for 10 years. She prayed to Saint Anthony for restoration. One afternoon, out of nowhere, her daughter sent her a text. "I don't know why, but I woke up today feeling like I need my mom." That wasn't coincidence. That was Saint Anthony. Right now, Saint Anthony is walking into the dark places of your life, into the courtroom, into the hospital room, into the bank account, into the broken relationships, into the places you don't even speak about out loud. His presence carries the miracle. His hands carry your breakthrough. Imagine him holding the child Jesus, whose eyes are filled with love for you. Imagine him whispering your name to the divine child, saying, "This one needs a miracle. Let's make it happen." Heaven responds to that voice. Heaven honors that request. If this resonates with your spirit, if you believe that Saint Anthony is working behind the scenes right now, then declare it boldly in the comments. Saint Anthony, restore what was lost in my life. Watch how heaven answers when you activate faith with your voice. Total surrender unlocks supernatural breakthroughs. There's a spiritual law that most people never learn. The moment you fully surrender is the moment heaven fully responds. Saint Anthony knew this. He lived this. And this is what unlocked the endless flow of miracles in his life and through his intercession. Surrender doesn't mean giving up. It means handing over what you were never meant to carry in the first place. The fear, the anxiety, the sleepless nights, the crushing weight of not knowing how things will turn around. You were never designed to carry that. God was. Saint Anthony teaches us that surrender is a sacred exchange. You give God your burdens, and in return, he gives you his peace, his solutions, and his miracles. But the enemy will always fight this moment. He wants you stuck in control, in fear, in doubt, because he knows that surrender triggers supernatural intervention. Think about the storm Saint Anthony faced when his ship was thrown off course. From the outside, it looked like failure, like disappointment. But heaven was rerouting him to his destiny. What looked like chaos was divine alignment. And the same is true for you. Maybe right now everything feels uncertain. You look at your finances, your relationships, your health, and it feels like the storm is winning. But hear this clearly. Saint Anthony is stepping into your storm right now. He's whispering, trust the reroute. The miracle is in motion. There's power when you pray, not just for a miracle, but for the strength to surrender fully. Because the miracle always lives on the other side of surrender. Saint Anthony knew it. Every saint knew it. And now, so do you. When you say, God, I trust you more than my fear, something shifts in the spiritual atmosphere. Angels are dispatched, chains are broken, opportunities are released. The impossible begins to bow to the name of Jesus through the hands of Saint Anthony. Look around. What are you still trying to control? That problem, that person, that outcome. Saint Anthony is inviting you today to place it on the altar of faith, to say, Lord, I release this fully to you. I trust that you will do what I cannot. There's a man named David who was drowning in debt. He tried everything, loans, jobs, side gigs, but nothing worked. Finally, exhausted, he fell to his knees, prayed to Saint Anthony, and simply said, I surrender. You take this. 3 days later, an unexpected financial blessing arrived that covered his needs entirely. This isn't coincidence. This is divine mathematics. When surrender meets faith, the miraculous becomes inevitable. But the enemy wants you exhausted, frustrated, and hopeless, because that keeps you from the power of surrender. There's also a woman named Grace, whose husband had walked away after years of marriage. She tried to fix it herself, begging, negotiating, compromising her worth, but nothing worked. The day she released it to St. Anthony in prayer, her husband called with a softened heart, asking to come home. Sometimes the miracle isn't in fixing the situation exactly how you want. It's in how God restores it even better than you imagined. St. Anthony's intercession doesn't just repair what's broken. It elevates it, transforms it, renews it. You were never meant to fight this battle alone. Heaven is waiting for one word from you. I surrender. The moment you say it, you step out of striving and step into supernatural supply. You move from worry to worship, from fear to favor. If you feel this deep in your heart right now, then type it boldly in the comments. I surrender. I trust you, Saint Anthony. Let heaven see it. Let the spiritual realm register it. Let this be the day everything starts shifting in your favor. The miracle becomes inevitable when you believe without limits. When you reach the point where doubt no longer has a voice, something extraordinary happens. You step into a realm where the impossible becomes inevitable. This is the space where Saint Anthony operates, where heaven responds, not to how big your problem is, but to how big your faith has become. Saint Anthony wants you to know this truth right now. If you can believe without limits, heaven can move without limits. The laws of the natural world don't apply here. You are stepping into a supernatural dimension where faith rewrites reality. There's a divine sequence that happens when your heart aligns with faith. First comes surrender, then comes expectation, then comes the miracle. Most people get stuck between expectation and doubt, but not you, not today. Today, you break through that barrier. Miracles aren't reserved for saints in history books. They are living, breathing realities for anyone who dares to believe. The same Saint Anthony who restored what was lost for thousands across centuries is standing right beside you now, ready to do it again. Let this sink in. Your miracle is not just possible, it's already in motion. The fact that you're listening to this prayer right now means that heaven has already started the process. Saint Anthony has already carried your name into the presence of God. Even if you don't feel it yet, something is shifting in the spiritual realm. Contracts are being signed. Medical reports are changing. Hearts are softening. Jobs are opening. Debts are dissolving. Restoration is happening, all because you dared to believe. There's a woman named Anna who prayed this very prayer when her son was facing a terminal illness. Doctors gave him no hope, but Anna refused to bow to fear. She prayed with Saint Anthony day and night, declaring her miracle. 3 weeks later, doctors could no longer find a trace of the disease. This isn't magic. This isn't luck. This is the power of faith combined with Saint Anthony's unstoppable intercession. Heaven cannot resist a prayer fueled by faith that refuses to give up. And right now, that's the kind of faith rising within you. Imagine Saint Anthony standing before the throne of God, holding your request, saying, "Lord, this child of yours believes, they trust. Let's move on their behalf." And the Father, rich in mercy, smiles and releases the blessing you've been crying for. Right now, every barrier is crumbling. The chains are breaking, the walls are falling, the doors are opening. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. Because faith works in the present tense. Heaven's response isn't maybe, it's yes and amen. I want you to feel it. Close your eyes for a moment and breathe. Imagine the burden lifting. Imagine the phone call coming. Imagine the healing being declared. Imagine the financial breakthrough landing. Imagine the reconciliation. It's happening. The spiritual atmosphere around you is changing. Light is flooding the darkness. Angels are moving. What was stuck is now flowing. What was broken is now mending. What was lost is now returning. Saint Anthony is holding the door open for your miracle to walk through. But here's the key to sealing it: gratitude in advance. Thank God not when it happens, but because it's happening. Thank Saint Anthony not after the breakthrough, but because the breakthrough is already yours in heaven's timeline. When you express gratitude before the miracle, you're telling heaven, I trust you so much that I celebrate before I see it. This accelerates the blessing. It multiplies the favor. It commands the impossible to bow faster. This is spiritual alignment at its highest level. If you believe this, type it with authority in the comments right now. My miracle is inevitable. Thank you, Saint Anthony. Let the heavens see your faith. Let the spiritual world move faster on your behalf. This is the moment where everything shifts forever. May the divine light of Saint Anthony flood your life from this moment forward. May every shadow of fear, doubt, and despair be consumed by the fire of heavenly hope. Let the radiant hands of Saint Anthony touch your heart, bringing peace where there was pain and clarity where there was confusion. Right now, the spiritual chains are breaking. Heaven's mercy is rewriting your story. May the presence of God surround you like a shield. May Saint Anthony stand beside you as your intercessor, whispering your name to the child Jesus. No evil will stand against you. No weapon formed against you will prosper, for the hands of the miraculous are already working on your behalf. I bless your home with abundance. May every corner of your house be filled with divine light. Where there was lack, let there now be provision. Where there was sadness, let joy overflow. Where there was tension, let there now be peace beyond understanding. May your finances be restored. Doors that were shut will swing open. Debts are being cancelled. Opportunities are being released. The windows of heaven are pouring blessings upon you right now through the intercession of Saint Anthony. I declare healing over your body, your mind, and your spirit. Whatever illness has tried to steal your strength is now defeated in the name of Jesus. May Saint Anthony touch every cell, every organ, and every wound, physical or emotional, and restore you to perfect health. To those praying for family restoration, may love flow back into broken relationships. Hearts are softening. Forgiveness is unfolding. Distance is turning into closeness. Saint Anthony is moving within your family even as you hear these words. May your nights be filled with peaceful sleep, knowing that heaven does not sleep. The angels of the Lord are surrounding you. Saint Anthony's presence watches over your dreams. Anxiety, fear, and worry no longer have permission to torment your mind. Every step you take from today forward is blessed. The ground beneath your feet is sacred. May divine favor meet you wherever you go. What once felt impossible now feels inevitable. Walk boldly, knowing that Saint Anthony is guiding you. I bless your hands. Everything you touch will prosper. Every project, every idea, every effort will multiply. Doors that others couldn't open will open for you, because you walk with the favor of heaven and the power of Saint Anthony's intercession. May divine protection cover your children, your spouse, your family, and every person you love. No harm shall come near you. Every plan of the enemy is cancelled. You are marked by God's goodness. You are under the mantle of St. Anthony's care. May your faith never again be shaken. From this day forward, may you rise every morning with the certainty that heaven is for you, not against you, that miracles are your portion, that the impossible bows at the sound of your prayers, And as you walk in this blessing, may your life become a testimony, a lighthouse for others who feel lost, a voice of hope for those drowning in despair, because through St. Anthony's intercession, you are no longer a seeker, you are a receiver of miracles. Your life will never be the same after this prayer. Now let me ask you something from the bottom of my heart. After this prayer, can you honestly say that you'll ever be the same? Can you go back to living as if heaven didn't just move on your behalf? Will you choose to doubt again? Or will you step forward in absolute trust, knowing that the miracle has already started unfolding? What would happen in your life if you truly believed that St. Anthony is working behind the scenes right now? How different would your day look if you woke up knowing that doors are opening, healing is coming, and restoration is on its way? Are you ready to embrace this new season of miracles? Or will you keep living under the weight of fear and uncertainty when God has already assigned angels to carry out your breakthrough? This is not just a prayer. This is a divine appointment, a holy invitation to step into a new reality where faith becomes your greatest weapon and miracles become your daily experience. So tell me in the comments, what miracle are you expecting now? What blessing do you refuse to give up on? What testimony will you be sharing soon? Because I promise you, after this prayer, after this encounter, your life will never be the same again. If this prayer touched your heart, if you feel the presence of St. Anthony moving in your life, then don't keep this blessing to yourself. Hit the like button right now and type Amen in the comments as a sign of your faith and gratitude for the miracle that's already on its way. Share this video with someone you love, a family member, a friend, someone who desperately needs to hear that miracles are still real. You have no idea whose life could be transformed simply because you shared this prayer. Be the bridge between their pain and their breakthrough. Subscribe to our channel if you believe in the power of prayer. This is a community of faith, a family of believers, a safe place where hope is restored, where testimonies are born, and where the impossible becomes reality every single day through the grace of God and the intercession of St. Anthony. And don't forget, leave your prayer request in the comments. Write it boldly. Let the world know what you are believing for. Let St. Anthony see your faith. Let heaven record your words. Because together, united in prayer, we are unstoppable. Miracles are coming. Believe it, declare it, receive it.